Stop me if you've heard this before, but the Lakers could use some additional point of attack defenders. And that was abundantly clear in their routing against the Phoenix Suns, where they were the ones who were routed. Although it should be noted, Marcus Smart was out and JJ Redick refused to play guys like Jared Vanderbilt and Adu Thiero to amp up the energy. But regardless, because of those players' deficiencies, either health wise or them being too one dimensional or them being a rookie, it would be useful for the Lakers to continue to bolster up their point of attack defense, particularly on ball against primary ball handlers, and then just stocking up on high IQ defenders in general who can uphold JJ Redick's defensive scheme from an off-ball team perspective. So with that said, in today's video, I have 5 marginal trade packages for you guys for point of attack defenders that don't necessarily involve the Lakers 2031 first. So we're not going to be talking about the high-level wing defenders or point of attack defenders like Herb Jones or Andrew Wiggins. Today we're going to be focusing on the ancillary players. And because of that, I think some of these deals are more realistic. Anyways, without further ado, if you guys could please do me a favor and like this video, comment down below, mash that hype button, and most importantly, hit subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And with that said, let's get into my 5 marginal trades for more point of attack defenders. And let's start with number 1, a deal with the Los Angeles Clippers. So right now, the Clippers are down bad. They are set to give the Oklahoma City Thunder a top 5 to 8 pick in the 2026 NBA draft because the Oklahoma City Thunder own the Clippers pick. But regardless, in this deal with the Clippers, who presumably will start to sell off players soon, and if you've heard what Yazzie Goslin has said recently, they're probably going to look to get under the first apron. Now, the Lakers won't necessarily give them immediate help in this respect, although they will relieve them of long-term salary moving forward. So in this deal with the Los Angeles Clippers, the Lakers will give up Gabe Vincent, Dalton Connect, and will throw in the Lakers' 2032 second-round pick. And in return, the Lakers would be getting Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn. Now, obviously, we all know Luka Doncic hates Chris Dunn, but what happens when Chris Dunn is sticking up for Luka on the same team? I think those two will be able to hash things out pretty quickly and learn to have mutual admiration from one another. So I want Chris Dunn on this team. He has always been one of the best point of attack defenders in the league, one of the best high steals rate sort of guys. And then to get a guy like Derrick Jones Jr. back into the fold, Luka's former teammate, one of the best explosive and athletic 3-and-D defenders. I mean, to get 2 of those types of players in a deal would be a godsend for the Lakers. Now, would the Clippers necessarily want to deal with the Lakers? Would they do it to, relieve themselves of salary moving forward because Derrick Jones is on for 1 more year, Chris Dunn is on for 1 more year? In this deal, they would get Gabe Vincent's expiring and be able to duck that apron next season. Would the Clippers do that? One, would they deal with the Lakers again? Would they do that to take a flyer on Dalton Connect and clear some salary? I'm not sure. Let's not focus too much on the trade logistics. And if the Lakers have their sights set on Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn, I believe that would be a worthwhile venture for them. So that's my first trade. Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn. This would exponentially boost the Lakers' perimeter defense and overall defensive IQ across the board. This would help during those games where Marcus Smart has to sit out because he continually racks up these knick-knack injuries. Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones Jr., very physical defenders, very athletic defenders. So yeah, I don't think I have to sell you guys too much more on this type of deal. So yeah, there's the Clippers deal for Derrick Jones Jr. and Chris Dunn. If the Lakers can manage to pull this type of deal off without giving up a 2031 first-round pick, that would be a steal, both figuratively and literally, because both of these players can rack up a ton of steals. All right, let's move on to my second trade package idea, and let's talk about a deal with the Chicago Bulls. All right, so this deal is a little bit complicated. I had to do a 3-team deal to make the money work. We are going to loop the Brooklyn Nets into this deal so that they can take on some salary for us. And we're going to give the Nets Maxi Kleber. The Lakers will give the Nets a second-round pick, and so will the Chicago Bulls for this salary dump. And then the Lakers would also give up Jared Vanderbilt. So the Lakers would get off of Jared Vanderbilt's 3-year contract, including this year. They would also give up Gabe Vincent and then Dalton Connect. In return, the main package of this deal for the Lakers would be for Isaac Okoro, who's on for the next 2 years at just $11 million, and then Patrick Williams, who's on for the next 4 years at $18 million. And I know that sounds like an arduous burden of a contract to take on because it's 4 more years, but Patrick Williams is still only 24 years old. And at his baseline, if he never improves offensively, he's just a really good DFS type of forward defender who is gritty, is physical, and has good defensive motor. But really, the Lakers would be doing this for Isaac Okoro, who can legitimately defend ball handlers at the point of attack and is very scrappy and strong as well. And then the Nets would also send the Lakers Haywood Highsmith, and Haywood Highsmith would just be the cherry on top of the sundae if he's able to become healthy enough within this season to contribute in any sort of way before the playoffs. So I don't know if the Bulls would actually want to do this. The thing for the Lakers, though, and the thing that I'll mention is even though we're taking on Patrick Williams 4 more years at $18 million, we're also sending the Bulls Jared Vanderbilt. So we take on 1 more year of an $18 million player, but that player is younger than Jared Vanderbilt and can actually hit threes way better than Jared Vanderbilt. And we're able to offload Jared Vanderbilt, a player who JJ Redick currently doesn't trust and has been racking up DNPs. So to me, swapping out Vando for Patrick Williams is worth it, even though Patrick Williams has 1 additional year on his contract. And so would the Bulls want to do this? I don't know. They get a flyer on Dalton Connect. They get off of Patrick Williams' long-term salary. They may want to do it for that reason. They do still maintain some sort of defensive identity with Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt if they even plan to use those players. But the Bulls would essentially be doing this to get off of Patrick Williams' salary and take a flyer on Dalton Connect. I'm not sure if that's enough for them. But again, trade logistics aside, if the Lakers can get Patrick Williams and Isaac Okoro from the Bulls while also offloading Jared Vanderbilt, to me, that would be a huge steal because Isaac Okoro and Patrick Williams are still in their mid-20s. They're still well into their primes or haven't even reached their primes yet. And they would just boost the Lakers' overall defensive floor. And then to tack on Haywood Highsmith on top of that, I mean, if all of these guys are healthy by the time March and April come around, that would be a huge boost to the margins for the Lakers with regards to, being a scrappier team with greater motor and higher basketball IQ on the defensive end of the floor. So that is my second trade with the Chicago Bulls and looping in the Brooklyn Nets to take on Maxi Kleber's contract. Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro, Haywood Highsmith. I'm not sure if the Lakers would do this deal because they're taking on longer term salary. But if they know they're going to re-sign Austin Reeves anyways, and they're going to re-sign DeAndre Ayton, Marcus Smart, et cetera, maybe they won't even be a cap space team next season, and they'll just choose to build out the rest of their 2 to 3 year future now via trade. So yeah, that's my number 2 marginal trade with the Chicago Bulls. Let's move on to my number 3 trade package, and let's talk about a deal with the Sacramento Kings. Now, in this deal, we are also looping the Brooklyn Nets in as a third team. Same sort of stipulations as the last deal. We're going to give them Maxi Kleber. Lakers are going to give them a second-round pick. So are the Kings. The Lakers are going to be giving the Kings Gabe Vincent's expiring contract, as well as a flyer on Dalton Connect, who is on a cheap cost-control deal. Meanwhile, the Kings would be giving the Lakers Malik Monk at $18 million for the next 3 years, including this year. And then former first-round pick Devin Carter, same draft as Dalton Connect, $4.9 million this year, and then he's on for 2 more years. So why the Kings would do this is, I think they're just trying to blow things up. I think they want to get off of Malik Monk's contract. They haven't been playing Devin Carter at all. Obviously, you can put Keon Ellis into this deal, but I don't want to talk about Keon Ellis because everybody's talking about Keon Ellis, and if the Kings were to actually make Keon Ellis available, I think the Lakers could get outbid for Keon Ellis. So in lieu of Keon Ellis, I feel like the Lakers should be looking at Devin Carter because this dude is an all-utility athletic defender, even though he's 6'3". This is a guard who averaged 9 rebounds in college and was known for having a high steals rate, for having a good defensive motor. And to be able to bring in a guy like Malik Monk, who would add to the Lakers' explosive athleticism as well, and also add to the Lakers' 3-point shooting, I mean, we're killing two birds with one stone with this deal. Now, obviously, there are questions here regarding whether or not the Kings would want to do this. But if the Kings just want to get off of Malik Monk's contract and they haven't had any real bidders and they don't plan to do anything with Devin Carter, could they just take on a Dalton Connect flyer for the next iteration of their team to help smooth things out and having a surefire shooter there who can get buckets in the meantime while they sort out their future? That's what I'm thinking from the Kings standpoint, you know? But yeah, from the Lakers standpoint, to get a young guard, and Devin Carter, by the way, is a prospect that I wanted the Lakers to draft if he had somehow fallen to the Lakers' number 17th pick in the 2024 draft. If the Lakers can get in Devin Carter, continue to develop and groom him and stick him out there on the team's best ball handlers right now, have him learn under Marcus Smart, I feel like that could pay some real dividends for the Lakers down the line, because Devin Carter is also no slouch when it comes to handling the ball, when it comes to playmaking a little bit. Again, I've likened him in the past to being this sort of athletic Josh Hart sort of player. And yeah, he's cost control for the next 3 years as well. We would reunite the Arkansas boys, Malik Monk and Austin Reeves, and maybe Monk could have a more redemptive season with the Lakers on a winning team this time. And it would just be fun to watch both Malik Monk and Devin Carter fly up and down the court. Devin Carter's known for his crazy windmill jams in transition. Malik Monk is known for his jams everywhere. So yeah, this would be a fun trade for the Lakers to pull off if they were able to pull it off. I know the history between the Kings and the Lakers is fraught with a lot of bad blood, but pushing that to the side, and if, you know, both teams can sort of fulfill what they want to do in the short and long-term future, I feel like this would be a pretty good deal for the Lakers without having to give up the 2031 first round pick. All right, so that's marginal trade number 3. Let's move on to my 4th trade, and let's talk about a deal with the Portland Trailblazers. All right, so this deal has been thrown about multiple times over the last year, so I won't delve too much into it. But now more than ever, as we inch closer and closer to the trade deadline, as we inch closer to the December 15th date in which more trades will be available across the league, because you'll be able to trade guys that you signed in the summer. I think it's worth bringing this trade package back into the fold. So the Lakers would be trading with the Portland Trailblazers, and they would be sending out Gabe Vincent's expiring, Maxi Kleber's expiring, Dalton Connect, and their 2032 second round pick. In return, the Portland Trailblazers would be giving the Lakers Robert Williams, who's an expiring $13 million, and Matisse Thybulle, who's an expiring $11 million. I'm not sure if the Portland Trailblazers want to do this or if they want to see what they can get for Matisse and Robert Williams separately. All I know is Matisse has been injured pretty much this entire season. He's dealing with, I believe, a thumb fracture, but he is set to be reevaluated soon, and he could return to action by the end of this month. And so, yes, Robert Williams and Matisse Thybulle are very injury-prone players. Matisse Thybulle more injury-prone in the last 2.5 years, but prior to his time with the Blazers, Matisse was actually very healthy. He had been playing 65 plus games like for the first 4 or 5 years in his career. It's just been the last 2.5 years with the Portland Trailblazers that he's been sort of snake bitten with injuries. But regardless, I understand that Robert Williams and Matisse Thybulle are very injury prone, but you're not really giving up much in this deal, and they are expiring contracts, and they are sort of like break glass in case of emergency Jared Vanderbilt types of players who could relieve a Marcus Smart on the nights that Marcus Smart is off. And Matisse Thybulle, to me, I guess over the last few years, he's been more regarded as a wing defender, but he navigates screens really well. We've seen him get sicked on guys like Steph Curry, chase him around, block 3-point shots of Steph Curry's. He's a good all-utility defender who helps in a team defense scheme, but also just a point-of-attack ball handling scheme as well, even though these days, again, he probably scales up a little bit more defensively. And then Robert Williams, I mean, we already know all about Robert Williams. Even though he's 6'9", he has a massive 7'6" wingspan. He's uber athletic. And the way that the Blazers have been playing him recently, I mean, he's only playing like 13 minutes. Like these are the types of guys who will only play 15 minutes when you need them. But when they're out there, they will infuse and inject your team with that defensive life and IQ and sort of glue everything together for you. And against a team like the Suns last night who are out physicaling us, we needed guys like Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams, who are also very strong and physical and just play smart basketball, you know? So yeah, I don't think I need to sell you guys anymore on Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams. I think this is a trade package that Lakers fans have been clamoring for. And the closer and closer we inch to the trade deadline, I think the more it could become a reality. Now, the Lakers and Blazers haven't been trade partners in the past to my recent memory. But I do believe they had discussions last year on a Jeremy Grant deal. It's just that the Blazers GM wanted 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant. Will he still have those lofty expectations for 2 injury-prone expiring dudes this season? I'm not sure. I just know the Blazers are also trying to compete, so that could make things complicated. Would the Lakers need to loop in a third team here to get the Blazers the players that they actually want? I don't know. I will say I think Gabe Vincent could actually help them out. Would they want a flyer on Dalton Connect to help shore up their shooting because they don't have a lot of shooters currently? I just know that they won't have too much use for guys like Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams. And these 2 players also don't factor into their long-term future plans as well. And they do have guys like Sidi Sissoko and Ryan Rupert who need time. And Matisse Thybulle coming back into the rotation would only muck that up. And the Blazers do need to start developing Yang Hansen as well. And so if they can get off Robert Williams and start siphoning off like the 13 minutes that Robert Williams is playing into Yang Hansen, I think that would benefit them in the long term. So that's sort of my rationale on why the Blazers would do this. We all know why the Lakers would do this. I guess the problem is the Lakers have been pretty reticent to take on injury-prone players. So I'm actually not sure from the Lakers end whether they would do this type of deal as well. But anyways, this is a deal that I personally would love. Matisse Thybulle, you already know my affinity for him. Robert Williams, it's a risk, it's a wild card, but if it pays off, it could pay off in a big way. So there is my 4th marginal trade for a point of attack defender, Matisse Thybulle, and we also get a good backup center defender as well. All right, let's move on to my 5th and last marginal trade for a point of attack defender and more. And let's talk about a deal with the Indiana Pacers. So I always leave my kookiest and hipsteriest trade packages for the end, and this time is no exception. In this deal with the Pacers, the Lakers would be sending out Gabe Vincent's expiring, Maxi Kleber's expiring, Dalton Connect, and their 2032 second-round pick. In return, the Lakers would be getting TJ McConnell, Ben Shepherd, and Obi Toppin. So this one is a weird deal because on first blush, I'm not sure why the Lakers should do this because TJ McConnell is on for 4 more years at $10 million, and he's already like 33 years old. And then Obi Toppin is on for 3 more years on top of this one at $14 million per. So the Lakers are actually taking on a lot of long-term salary, and I'm not sure if these are the players they want to be doing that for. But having said that, I actually know why the Pacers would do this deal. They need to re-sign guys like Benedict Mathurin this upcoming summer, and they're not playing for anything right now. They sort of need to clear the deck for when Tyrese Halliburton returns, and they need to get off of some of these long-term salaries for Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell, who are on for the next 3 to 4 years. And so if they can shed their salary by taking on Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber's expiring, while also taking a flyer on a shooter like Dalton Connect, I think that would benefit them in the short term, but most especially in the long term for when Tyrese Halliburton comes back. On the Lakers end, I understand it is pretty tricky. Again, I'm not saying this is the most ideal trade, but if we're just looking at the skill sets that the Lakers are taking him back, TJ McConnell is the version of Gabe Vincent that we thought we were getting when we signed Gabe Vincent to his mid-level exception deal, because TJ McConnell is everything that Gabe Vincent isn't. While TJ McConnell is as short as Gabe Vincent is, I just feel like he's the much better actual point of attack defender who's more physical than Gabe Vincent, who doesn't get moved off of his spots. And more importantly, he's a much better offensive player than Gabe Vincent. He can actually handle the ball. He can actually play make I used to call him White Rondo because his vision is actually pretty underrated. And then he can also get buckets for himself in the mid range. And so TJ McConnell is also a proven playoff guy. He's a proven winning player. And on this team, I just feel like he would be that all encompassing connective glue piece on both ends of the floor. He would give the Lakers a backup point guard to help stem their bench, but he would also give the Lakers an actual point of attack defender that whenever JJ Redick deploys Gabe Vincent, I feel like that's what JJ Redick is trying to get out of Vincent, like a TJ McConnell type of player, but Gabe Vincent isn't TJ McConnell, is what I'm trying to say. And if the Lakers can actually get who JJ Redick thinks Gabe Vincent is, that would be a huge win. Now, the problem with TJ McConnell is that he's on for 4 more years. He is a little bit older, but I don't think his type of game will deteriorate that much because he is a crafty player and he relies a lot on his smarts. So I'm doing this deal for TJ McConnell as well as Ben Shepherd, who I really liked coming out of the draft. He's a shooting guard, small forward. He's supposed to be a sharpshooter. His three-point shot has waned here and there, but I also like Ben Shepherd's profile. Coming out of the draft, I kind of viewed Ben Shepherd as like a poor man's Quentin Grimes. I don't think he's as athletic and explosive as Quentin Grimes, but he can shoot the ball. He can handle the rock a little bit. He's a smart, connective player. He's still pretty young. So I like taking on a flyer like Ben Shepherd, who I feel like has more versatility than a guy like Dalton Connect. Would the Pacers give up on Ben Shepherd? I don't know, but they have a lot of mouths to feed right now on their team. And we're also doing them a favor by taking on TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin's contracts. And then Obi Toppin, while I know that he's injured for much of this season, he's slated to come back around maybe post All-Star break. But if and when we're able to get the healthy version of Obi Toppin, that's a dude who would thrive next to Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves. A dude who is explosive and athletic AF, who runs up and down the court like crazy. He's a dude with good length at 6'9" with a 7-foot plus wingspan. A dude with an improved three-point shot over the last couple of years. I like the role that Obi Toppin has played with the Pacers, and I feel like he could be that Rui Hachimura insurance. He can kind of slot at the 3, but more so the 4. But yeah, I just have always liked Obi Toppin's overall player template as an explosive finisher who will also help do the little connective things as well. So essentially, the Lakers are getting 3 connective players, but for me, TJ McConnell is sort of the point of attack guy that I'm doing this deal for, which kind of sounds insane again because he's like 33 years old and he's on for 4 more years at $10 million. But just trust me when I say TJ McConnell is a guy that I've wanted the Lakers to have on their team for a long time. And I know that he's a guy that JJ Redick would trust. And I believe they have a pretty good relationship with one another. I forget if Redick and McConnell played together on the Sixers. They may have. But anyways, I just know TJ McConnell, JJ Redick would be a match made in heaven. And I wouldn't have a problem with Redick actually deploying him in real rotation minutes because I know that he can stand up as a defender, but also as a playmaker and a point guard general. So yeah, that's my sales pitch on this weird, quirky Indiana Pacers trade package. I understand that it's probably not a lot of people's cup of tea, and I actually don't think it's the Lakers' cup of tea, but if they're able to get past sort of the long-term money here, which I don't know how they're going to be able to get past that, at least on paper, these are the types of skill sets and the types of players who I believe would help the Lakers now. All right, so that does it for my 5 marginal trade packages that involve a perimeter point of attack defender and then some ancillary defenders and pieces as well. I'm not saying that these deals are necessarily realistic or imminent, but these are just some ideas that I'm currently workshopping as we inch closer and closer to December 15th, as we inch closer and closer to January 15th and the trade deadline. Let me know what you guys think about these deals. Again, these are marginal. I'm not sure if the other team would do it, yada, yada. Don't hammer me for this. Let me know what types of trades that you guys would do. And let me know out of this list and out of these options, which one was your favorite, which one you hated the most. Let me know all of that in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, mash that hype button, and most importantly, please hit subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. With that said, this has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.